Today I'm going to paint palm leaves, banana leaves in very loose, spontaneous style. Hi friends, I'm Olga Koelsch, watercolor artist, teacher and a book author. Welcome to my studio. First of all, let's talk about colors. Usually tropical leaves, they're burnt with the sunshine and therefore they have a lot of warmth in their colors. If you have ready-made paints like olive green, sap green, that would be a great choice. If you don't, you can mix phthalo green and mix it with paints like ochre or raw sienna to create basically the same hue. Let's start to paint. I will use ochre, yellow ochre for the stems, and let's place the first one, very brave, from top to bottom. And then I pick up my light green, olive green, and I begin to arrange the leaf with small brush strokes. And I leave in between, here and there, I leave in between some paper that also will help me to show the sunshine. Very typical for banana leaves. Some leaves, they are ripped, so we can step aside and paint this rip part. And then again, sometimes you can add more fine brush strokes one to another, or sometimes you can add a bigger brush stroke, pressing a little bit onto your brush, but all the brush strokes should move towards the stem. You can soften some strokes with clean damp brush. Add variety of brush strokes. I like to combine, especially for tropicals, I like to combine dry brush strokes and softer brush strokes. I always like to leave a bit of white area in between. Now we are moving towards the end. It might be helpful if we cheat a little bit and firstly finish the leaf area. That will help us to stay focused and move towards upper point. I'm mixing paints, a little bit more greenish, more yellowish, dry brush strokes, separated brush strokes, and then combining them all. Always nice to add some movement, for example, add some curve like this, and then connect it to the stem, bring it to the stem, adding different shadows of ochre. Again, yellow ochre. It will be, I'm planning the other leaf underneath this. So firstly, the middle, the stem, can add a bit more of thickness to that. And then let's pretend that the beginning of the leaf was happening somewhere outside of our paper. We just imagine how it grew. It can even help us to imagine with small little outline, just to set up their direction. And then we bring all these brush strokes towards the stem. I'm skipping today the drawing part, and it's kind of helpful to draw a little bit with the brush. Very fine lines. They will disappear under all those brush strokes. A little bit of dry brush strokes when I press onto my brush and then release the pressure pretty quick, like this. That will create this nice texture. And again, I imagine how my leaf grew there, about this. The more curves you add, the interesting. And right now it's more convenient for me to move from the stem towards the edge, and that you see that completely fine. That also allows me to create nice vivid texture, very typical for banana leaves. Let's again move to that direction. Now I have to imagine how it will grow. I imagine it will grow like this underneath the other guy. I can add, for example, a nice spot in between. And as this leaf underneath the other one, I will make it a bit darker. If you have something light, paint something dark next to that, maybe even like this, in between those. And then let's add the other part. Now we have a gap here, so I would prefer not to do it symmetrical, not to create another gap. I'd rather paint some interesting edge, and then I try to use this edge to finish the painting of the leaf. Now let's add one more leaf, which will be folded, so we can see just one half. Firstly, start with a stem. I can arrange the leaf part, for example, like this. This one will be on the top. That means I can use a bit darker colors to cover that one. As a contrast, we have a lot of greens here. I will use more yellowish, more ochre colors. I can move from top to bottom, from bottom to top. The more different brush strokes you will create, the nicer. I would like to add one more very, very rounded one, small but with nice curve. Brush strokes, basically with the tip of the brush, sometimes the last 5 millimeters of the brush. Always trying to load my brush with a little bit new hue. I just have sort of different things here. Let's add a bit more darker green spot right here. I think I will paint another one just for the composition purposes. Same direction. Let's see about this. Let's do that. It's mostly hidden, but it's a lot of green here, so I would like to paint it more yellowish, at least on this part. Basically sliding my brush, a bit of green, so it would not look too similar to what we did. A bit of brush strokes like this, and we can also paint another part. But here we have more freedom. We can add a couple of interesting details. Couple of details, smaller brush strokes. Now with creamy bold mix, I just can go around, have a look, and maybe add a couple of accents with the tip of the brush, basically dry paint on the brush. Couple of these veins in the leaves, very typical for banana leaves, palm leaves, some shadows, some accents. No, not much. It's nice if you just make a couple of spots here and there, and that will be enough. Try to make them asymmetrical, so one brush stroke here, three in some other place. Make it interesting for you to paint. You shouldn't feel bored after you're doing just the same. All should feel a bit different every time. Something new. Now let's remove the type. I like how, thanks to the type, we got this a little bit framed. This sketch of banana leaves is ready. Thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you enjoyed the process. I am looking forward for your feedback. What would you like to paint next? See you soon. Bye bye.